All right, cool. So the first question is on YouTube from MK78676. That's an interesting name. Please suggest what place I can visit in New Zealand to cover both islands in July with my family and kids. Can I cover everything in 15 days? I need to cover everything in 15 days. So 15 days apparently is the time. We are doing a road trip. Or trip starts and ends at Auckland. We prefer to fly back in return from Christchurch. Things we want to do includes Mount Paku, which I don't really know what that is. Glowworms, geysers, skywatch, skydive, volcanoes. It's got to be adventurous, but something suitable to go about kids in the weather you've mentioned in your previous July video. All right, New Zealand in 2 weeks. So, first thing I want to point out is that we do have an itinerary already written on the BackpackerGuide.NZ with a 2 weeks itinerary around New Zealand, which is quite handy. You can go through your whole article and you can check out every places that we suggest you stay, every places that we suggest you stop at, and there's going to be a lot of information on the article, but we'll give you a quick overview with the map because yes, the map is back.
Yes.
All right, so 2 weeks all around New Zealand. So obviously you're starting in Auckland.
Yep.
We're going to go to Coromandel, like High Beach, Waitomo, Rotorua, Taupo, Tongariro, Wellington, Picton, Abel, Tasman, Punakaiki, Franz, Josef, Wanaka, Queenstown, Milford Sound, and you can put Christchurch, but we'll suggest actually not to fly from Christchurch. I think it's going to be easier for them to fly from Queenstown, but we'll see how it's going to work.
All right.
All right. So here is what the map looks like. There is a lot of things to do in only 15 days. So first disclaimer, we think that 15 days is just a little too short to do both islands. And if we were to choose, we will focus on only one island. That would be our choice. So only you do the North Island or only you do the South Island. That would be our choice. But since your request was to do both islands, let's go over it. So you're going to start in Auckland, obviously, which is where about 95% of people land. And we suggest that the first place you visit is Coromandel, especially the little beach of High, which is spelled Hahei. Everybody always asks me how to spell it. So this is a beautiful place. There is Cathedral Cove there, which is one of the filming locations from Narnia, the movie Narnia. It's a stunning location, beach. It's kind of like out of this whole itinerary is going to be where you have the most like summery kind of beach, and you see this side of New Zealand as well, and that's why we like to start in there. Coromandel has really a lot to offer there, and even just the drive to get there is absolutely wonderful. And it's close to some really awesome things as well. If you are not really into visiting some really picturesque beach, you can go to a place called Karangaheke Gorges, where there is some old mining areas with a lot of really amazing hikes as well. So you're traveling with your family, definitely something super easy to do with family. And even if the weather is not that beautiful, it's not somewhere where you want to go just because it's a beach and it's beautiful weather. It is extremely picturesque. You get a cave literally all over the beach and an archway to walk under and everything like that. So it's absolutely stunning. Then we suggest you move on to Waitomo.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of really good family-friendly things to do in Waitomo. Obviously, you want to go there to see the glowworms. But in Waitomo, if you've got a family, good things to do are some of the walking tours there. They only last, I'd say about an hour each. And there's the Ruakuri Cave, which is really awesome. You get to see some stunning limestone formations and, of course, glowworms. That's a great one to do with kids. It's not too strenuous or anything. Or another option is the Waitomo glowworm caves, and this is it takes you to a different cave to the Ruakuri caves, but again, amazing formations to see, and you end the tour going into a little boat, and you sort of just float underneath an amazing array of glowworms. So that's definitely an awesome thing that is gonna make the kids just go wow. So yeah, that's Waitomo.
And the good thing with Waitomo as well is that even if you travel in July and it rains, a lot of the things to do are in caves, so they're not weather dependent at all. So you're sweet.
Yeah.
Moving on, you can make your way toward Rotorua. Now, going toward Rotorua, you can stop a little bit up, so you can do a little bit of the tour and go to Matamata, where there is Hobbiton. You'll be able to check out this awesome Lord of the Ring location. It's a very fun tour to do with the kids, because even if they haven't seen the movie, it does look really kind of magical and everything, so the kids really love it. But in Rotorua, this is where you have most of the Maori culture and also all the geothermal park. So the reason why we love this place, especially in the winter, in July, is that even if it rains, it usually makes it look even better. So we love all the geothermal park when it's cold and then when it rains, because you get much more steam, because, well, steam is hot air going up, right? So the colder it gets, the more steam you get. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So, and obviously they look as gorgeous, all the time. So you get some beautiful geothermal attractions, like some bright orange lakes, some pink lakes. You get bubbling mud, you get geysers, you get all those kind of things. The kids love that, like genuinely love that. And also all the Maori attractions. A lot of them are kind of village stays, like Mitai or a Tamaki village. And those are really cool to do. And same thing, they're not really too weather dependent, because you go through like villages, so it's kind of, they're well prepared for the weather, and it's all about the good food. So those ones are really cool. And Rotorua has a lot of things to do. So if the weather is really, really terrible, there's still plenty of entertainment for the kids. Then you're moving on to Taupo.
Yeah, so there's lots of stuff to do in Taupo. For short things to do with the kids, there's the Craters of the Moon, which is another geothermal park, and that has a short walk around there to see some awesome steamy attractions. But there's also quite some really fun hot pool attraction parks as well. So with the kids, you can there's like Debrets and the holiday park, the Taupo holiday park, which has like water slides, but it's all in a nice hot pools as well. So that's really awesome to do with the kids as well. There's also jet boating, which is like so much fun. I know that lots of kids go on that as well. It's not just for adults. And yeah, there's some awesome sailing cruises across the lake, which is New Zealand's largest lake. And on the sailing cruise, you make your way to the Maori carvings in a cliff, which is absolutely huge and an amazing photo opportunity. So that's just some of the things that you can do in Taupo.
Yeah.
And then after that, we suggest to go to the Tongariro National Park,
which is right here. So the Tongariro National Park, it is basically home to probably the most popular hike of the country. It's called the Tongariro Crossing. Now, depending on the age of your kids, they may not be able to do that. It's a little bit of a tough walk, but it's definitely adventurous. Now, as far as adventurous walk goes, it's one of the best maintained, with a lot of people there. You can even go with guides and all those kind of things. Especially in winter, you kind of have to go with guides. It is really wonderful to do, and if you want to kind of push and try, something really adventurous, this is the one to do. You do it, especially with kids with guides, and they will tell you what you can do or not. But yeah, Tongariro Crossing is really cool to do. Otherwise, if not, you can either skip through and straight away go to Wellington, which gives you more time for the South Island, or you can do some other much shorter walk in the area as well. There is a walk to the Taranaki Falls, for example, which is it's a really nice. It's in the same area right here. It's a really nice walk. But yeah, otherwise, just drive through and get yourself to Wellington, which is New Zealand's capital.
Yeah, and the number one thing to do in Wellington, especially with kids, is to go to the Te Papa Museum. In fact, whatever age you are, this is such an awesome museum. You can spend hours in there seeing all the different exhibitions about basically the social history, the natural history of New Zealand. Basically anything to do with New Zealand is in this museum, and all the displays are super interactive, and yeah, it's just so much fun. So that's definitely a must do in Wellington. There's other things to do in Wellington, of course. There's kayaking on the bay. There's plenty of walks to do. You can go check out the Botanic Gardens, which is a really lovely outdoor area. With
Zealandia as well.
Zealandia, of course, yeah. So Zealandia is like a wildlife sanctuary with a predator-proof fence around it. So all the birds are free to come and go, but it's usually like a safe haven for native birds. So that's definitely a great place to see some real New Zealand wildlife. So that's just a few things to do in Wellington.
Yeah, so definitely Wellington is somewhere where you can just stop and kind of get your kids an understanding of what is and where is New Zealand, all those kind of questions that they may have, like, because when you travel with kids, it's really important to give them a bit of context. But that's also the place where you take the ferry. So you hop on the ferry, which is absolutely wonderful. Like it's basically the only way, especially when renting a car, to go from the northern end to the southern end. But it's an attraction in itself. It's really amazing. But yeah, so you hop on the ferry and you're going to cruise through the beautiful Marlborough Sounds, and you're going to arrive in the little town of Picton, which is where you're going to get off the ferry. That's literally where it lands. In there's a lot of things to do. Some amazing boat trips. Like there's something called a mail cruise, which is really awesome. Around the sounds right here, there's a lot of little inlets and a lot of little sounds and a lot of places which can only be reached by boats. And there's a lot of people living there. There's a lot of resort and all those kind of things. So they need to get mail. And so there is a mail boat which is contracted by New Zealand Post that goes around all those little sounds and deliver mail. And you can, as part of the tour, join them doing that. It's really cool because it gives you such a great overview of the whole sound, and it's really wonderful. It's an amazing thing to do. So we definitely recommend doing that. Plus, if you're into your wines, Picton is really near Blenheim, which is the heart of the Marlborough region right here, and some of the best wine in the country. So if you want to treat yourself to some wine, yeah, that's a pretty good place. But then we want you to move on to Nelson and the beautiful Tasman National Park. Well, it looks like a smiley face.
I did a smiley face up here too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so in Abel Tasman National Park, there's loads of different things you can do here. It's a beautiful coastal area with golden sand beaches, beautiful green forest, and it's famous for having one of New Zealand's great walks, which is the Abel Tasman Coastal Track. But that might be a little bit long to take kids onto, so there are some other sort of day options to do. There's sailing tours, there's kayaking tours, and there's sort of boat and walking combos. So you can take a boat out to do about an hour walk back to another bay, and then take a boat back to one of the nearby towns like Motueka or Kaiterri. So yeah, so there's lots of different options there, and we do have an article on BackpackerGuide.NZ listing the 10 awesome things to do in Abel Tasman. So that's a good article to check out to see what would be your best option with the kids.
All right, so you can definitely spend 1 or 2 days around this area, especially if you do skip the Tongariro up there and really explore the area. I feel like in 15 days around New Zealand, you're going to want 1 or 2 days when you can actually just take a breather. But yeah, and you'll see that this is why we don't recommend you to actually fly from Christchurch. We want you to fly from Queenstown, just because we can save you 2 days from doing that, which would be really good. All right, so then after that, you are going to make your way toward Punakaiki. Yeah, so it has to go a bit that way because, well, there's no road right here. And around here, there's Nelson Lakes right here, which is an amazing pit stop with some beautiful lakes and mountain views. That it's definitely awesome to be able to stop there and take some pictures along the way while you make your way to Punakaiki. Now, Punakaiki, that's going to be a long drive, so you're going to arrive there around the a very early evening, late afternoon. And you'll be able to check out the Pancake Rocks, which is basically some absolutely beautiful limestone formations and some great blowholes as well, which is really awesome. So the kids are gonna absolutely love that. The walk to get there is literally the easiest way to walk in the entire country. It's completely flat. It's even paved. That is how easy that walk is. So definitely worth doing. That's going to be a great hour spent over there, basically, and spending a good night of rest, because then you have a busy day in the glaciers.
Yeah, so next, the next glacier area you can go to is Franz Josef Glacier. This is definitely the most popular place in New Zealand to see the glaciers. And what most people like to do there is take a heli hike onto the glacier, but it kind of depends on how old your kids are. If you are traveling as a family, you do tend to need to be traveling with older children, like teenagers, to actually go and do the heli hike.
Yeah.
So alternatively, really awesome options to actually see the amazing landscape is to do scenic flights. There's loads of different helicopter and fixed wing flights that you can do. You can also do some short walks around the area. A really good one to do is the Glacier Valley hike to the Franz Josef Glacier terminal base, which at the moment the road is closed, but there are plans to open it hopefully by the time you go in July.
No, it's not going to be ready in July.
Do you not think?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So you've got to do a heli hike if you want to do that. Otherwise, in Franz Josef, you also have bird park, sorry.
The West Coast Wildlife Centre.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's definitely, and this is actually also a really good one to do on a rainy day because it does rain quite a lot in Franz Josef. But yeah, they have a little indoor wildlife centre where there's a kiwi hatchery, so they hatch kiwi chicks and then
so cute.
Yeah, and then release once the kiwis are at a fully grown and safe enough to go back into the wild, then they're released back into the wild. So it's part of like the kiwi conservation in the area, and it's a great opportunity to see a real kiwi bird in New Zealand, which obviously the kids are gonna be amazed at.
Yeah. So now if the weather's not good in Franz Josef, try your luck in Fox Glacier, which is nearby. So keep driving. It's about a 30-minute drive from there, and usually the weather is much better in Fox Glacier, so try this one as well. Anyway, hop back on the road and make your way through a beautiful pass, and you arrive in town of Wanaka. Now, Wanaka is a place that you can skip, a bit like Tongariro. If you decide to skip it. But that's where you have that hashtag, that Wanaka tree. This tree coming out of the water. It makes for some amazing pictures. There's a lot of beautiful walk around the lake. You can kayak around the lake and do a lot of things like that. But if you do run out of time, you can head to Queenstown straight away. Because in Queenstown, we do want you to spend at least a couple of days because we want you to head to Milford Sound. So I'll let Laura tell you a bit about Queenstown, then I'll tell you about Milford Sound.
Yeah, so in Queenstown, there really is a crazy amount of things to do there. The list almost feels endless, but I'll try and give you some right now, which would be good as a family to do. The number one thing in my mind, I think, for families is to go and try the luge, which is a downhill go-karting track at the top of the Skyline Gondola in Queenstown. And if your kids are older, they can do their own go-karts, but if you do have younger kids, they can just sit on your lap while you control the go-kart, and it is so much fun. Like, don't underestimate how fun this is, because once you go down that track the first time, you want to keep on going again and again.
What's the slogan?
Once is never enough.
Yeah, it's probably the most accurate slogan I've seen in the whole country. Like, it's just so crazy how you really want to do it again. Yeah. It's really fun. It's silly fun.
Yeah, and there's lots of other things to do in Queenstown. There's about 5 different jet boat tours. There's another wildlife park there where they do kiwi conservation, among other birds that you can see there, and that's located at the bottom of the Skyline Gondola. There's plenty of walks to do. There's what else is good with kids?
In Queenstown.
In Queenstown, yeah.
Ton of food. There's plenty of food places, so you can stuff yourself.
Have lots of ice cream.
Yeah. But one of my favorite things to do in Queenstown is to actually hop on the bus and go to Milford Sound. Now it's an entire day tour, right? It's going to start at 7 in the morning and it's going to finish at 7 at night. They're going to take you through some of the most amazing places of the country and through beautiful Fjordan National Park. It's absolutely a must-do when in the area, and I feel like after driving that much, that's a lot of driving, you may want someone else to do the driving for you. So on top of it, that's going to help you really enjoy the sceneries much more. So that's definitely a one day, you need to do that, and you need to spend some time in Queenstown, and then you're back here. Now with this itinerary, we really suggest you to fly from Queenstown to Auckland, from Queenstown. I know on your request you said you wanted to fly from Christchurch, but we feel like it gives you much more of a chance to do much more things. But if you scrap, for example, Wanaka and you scrap Tongariro, it gives you an extra, let's say, day and a half to 2 days, and you can make your way toward Christchurch at that point. There is a lot of really nice, it's going to be a whole day drive, but there's a lot of nice places to stop at, like Lake Taupo, for example. You can see Mount Cook from the road. You won't really have time to drive to see Mount Cook, but you have quite a few nice places to stop along the way, and you can finish in Christchurch. But that will be our take for a family trip for 15 days around the entirety of New Zealand, but you won't see everything. From Auckland, 15 finishing and starting in Auckland, but giving you a car back somewhere down the South Island. Now, I hope that was useful to you. And again, we have that as an article on BackpackerGuide.NZ. I will put it in the description below to make sure that you have the link for you. And if you find that useful, like and subscribe. It really helps us a lot.